The night had fallen deep into its embrace, wrapping the world in a serene silence. The moon cast a silver glow through the sheer curtains, illuminating the dimly lit room. A soft breeze played with the drapes, making them sway gently, as if whispering untold secrets of the night. Mehreen stood by the window, her long, silky hair cascading down her back, shifting slightly with the wind. Her breaths were slow, rhythmic, as if she were lost in the enchanting aura of the moment. She held herself, feeling the slight chill in the air, though the warmth rising within her made it unnoticeable. Behind her, the door creaked open softly. She didn't need to turn to know who it was. A shiver ran down her spine as she felt his presence before even hearing his footsteps. Rihan stepped inside, his movements deliberate, almost hesitant, as though he didn't want to disturb the stillness of the night. His gaze fell upon Mehreen, who stood like a vision against the moonlit backdrop. His heart pounded against his chest. Was it the sight of her or the anticipation of what was to come? He couldn't tell. Mehreen finally turned, her eyes meeting his, locking in an unspoken conversation. A small, shy smile played on her lips, but she did not look away. Her eyes gleamed, with emotions too intense to be put into words. Ryan walked toward her, each step slow, calculated, stretching the moment into something infinite. As he closed the distance, he reached out and gently touched her chin, tilting her face up so he could see every emotion flickering in her eyes. "Do you know?" he whispered, his voice barely audible over the rustling curtains. "When I look into your eyes, I forget everything else." Mehreen's breath hitched. She couldn't respond. Words seemed inadequate at this moment. She only lowered her gaze for a second before lifting it again, her silence speaking louder than words. Rihan's fingers traced the side of her face, moving ever so gently, as if committing her every feature to memory. His touch sent a wave of warmth through her, a tingling sensation that made her heart race. He leaned in closer, his breath warm against her skin. Hmm. Mehreen closed her eyes, her body betraying her as she swayed slightly toward him. He lifted a hand and brushed away a loose strand of hair from her face, his fingers lingering a second longer than needed. "Your heartbeat," he murmured, placing a hand lightly against her chest, feeling the rapid rhythm beneath his palm. "It drives me crazy." Mehreen exhaled softly, her pulse erratic beneath his touch. She felt as though she was being consumed by the moment, pulled into a current too strong to resist. Rihan's hands moved down to her waist, fingers pressing lightly against the delicate fabric of her dress. He pulled her closer, and the last sliver of space between them vanished. Mehreen gasped at the sudden proximity, her hands instinctively moving to his chest, feeling the strong, steady beat of his heart. "This night belongs to us," he whispered, his lips grazing the shell of her ear. Mehreen's entire body responded to his words, a deep, slow burn awakening inside her. She let her hands slide up, wrapping around his neck, bringing herself even closer. Rihan tilted her face up once more, their breaths mingling, their eyes speaking a language only they understood. Then, with a gentleness that contradicted the fire raging inside him, he lowered his lips onto hers. The kiss was slow at first, uncertain, as if they were savoring the taste of the moment, but soon the restraint melted away and passion took its place. Mehreen felt herself drowning, her fingers gripping his shirt, holding onto him as if he was the only thing keeping her grounded. Rihan's hands explored the curve of her back, pulling her deeper into the embrace, their bodies now completely attuned to one another. His lips traveled down, tracing a path along her jawline, and Mehreen let out a shaky breath, her entire being succumbing to the sweet intoxication of his touch. The room, the world, time itself seemed to fade away. There was only them, wrapped in each other's warmth, lost in a love too consuming to resist. The night bore witness to two souls intertwining, melting into one another in a symphony of love, desire, and devotion. The moonlight bathed them in its glow as if blessing the union of two hearts destined to beat as one.